Hello, is there anybody there? Okay. Hi Edison. Eddie. Dastardly. Z. Hello. Alright, so today we're going to do something with... Alright, excellent to see. Hello Sean. Right, so we're going to do something with guitar, as I said yesterday. Now, so what I have is... well, I'll go to the project and I'll explain in a minute. But basically, I kind of have two templates that are very, very similar. One has more sort of guitar stuff in it, and the other one's like the kind of electronic-y sort of synthwave side of things. Well, let's say electronic music, because I don't want to completely pigeonhole myself into just like a genre, because I think like it's not totally strictly kind of that synthwave thing that I do. But the good thing about having two templates, well, the downside is you've got to keep both two things up to date, which isn't too bad to do. But the good thing about it is it's just that slight change in doing things keeps you more on your toes, you know. And one thing that's really, really important to keep you going in music, sorry, I'm just waking up. So one of the things that as musicians that we do face, one of the problems is actually boredom. And boredom can lead to all sorts of like trouble. For example, expectation. Our expectations become more, and we can become less focused on the process, because, as you know, I'm a firm believer of being focused on the process and not being focused on results. So expectations and results, very similar things. It's very future thinking ahead kind of things, and the problem with that is if our ideas now, which aren't finished, don't stack up to what our expectations are, then it can have a negative impact on us as artists. But the way around that is to actually create addiction. And when you're addicted to something, you just want to do it all of the time, you know. So I always think of it like, you know, being at school and just having, despite having a really crap time probably in the classroom, there might be a few games that you play when you're really young, you know, sort of at lunchtime and stuff like that. And that actually would be the focus for me. And I would get excited and want to get back just to do those things. So if we create an addiction, then it means, you know, we're going to want to come back to the studio or play guitar or whatever and do more of it, despite what the results will be, you know. So that's the way around the sort of results and expectation thinking, you know. But it's very easy to have results focused, expectations not met, and then to go back down the timeline into the past and go, oh right, yeah, that's right, because I'm rubbish at all of these things, and that's why I can't do the thing that I'm doing. Whereas we don't want to be up and down a timeline, we want to be in the now, and want to be addicted and focusing in on the thing that we've got in front of us, not the results. Right, okay. Let's look at the template. We're which is almost the same, which keeps it sort of like kind of management-wise a bit easier. Right, okay, so here we are. Looks pretty much the same. Let's get some stuff out of the way. Alright, so I'll keep an eye on the chat. What have I got? Okay, so drums. So today our drums are, hope it works. There we go. Addictive Drums NXL. So I'm using live drums because it gives me a different feel. Now there's another thing about this which I'll come to. It's there's a weird delay on my voice. Is that I'll just use like the MIDI file loops out of that to play it out, because as far as I'm concerned, the reason I'm using that drummer is simply because it's like having a drummer in the room and just like play a beat so I can jam along. So that's a good thing about that. And as you know, those drums get kind of layered in the process, so there is an extended process that goes on where sort of the electronic drums that I use kind of come in, and we'll layer that with the real drums, which is something I really like doing. I really like that kind of live crossover thing. Got the usual 808 because that's a style thing again, so I just have that there. A loop in case I want to have something interesting, arcade for something a bit out there. I've got the usual two crashers which I like. I could use the live crashers, just part of it's just ease, as well as kind of it's a thing that you recognise with my style, as those two particular crashers. Bass, we've got live bass now. So I've got Contact, and that's the bass we're going to be using, which you'll see, and I'm sure you've seen it before, is the groove bass, and it sounds excellent, MIDI bass. But there's something else I've got. I'll tell you what, we'll get groove bass up first, because I do need that on. Let's quickly get tuned. Alright, so that's groove bass, very good. And I'll just get that set up so I like the humanize. And I don't like to use too many open notes. So you can kind of force it not to use open notes. And we'll have, that's the DI, and that's the amp, right. So that's groove bass setup, that was quick. Alright, but the other thing I found, right, is this. Right, see what you think of this. So that, I found a preset, and when my hands warm up. So what that is there's a preset. Anybody who's got the John Petrucci Neural DSP plugin, his new amp, there's a preset on the artists, Pliny, and then demo bass player. So there you go. So I thought that's quite handy. I was messing about with it the other day. Yeah. God, warming my hands up at this time in the morning is ridiculous. Right, okay. Doesn't matter though. I don't need all those notes. Right. Okay, and then we've got the usual. Well, we haven't got the usual musical stuff. I've just got some amps chucked in. Okay, that I seem to be drawn towards. So we've got 4 in California for low gain. I've got and there's 2 of them panned. So that's actually I'll switch them on. But anyway, there's low gain, there's high gain, which is archetype. Oh, that's Nolly, which I'm going to probably change that. And then we've got sort of my live setup. So I've got the crystallizer patch there. And then what I've done is to make things a bit less imitating. I've just given different amps different names, which I can't remember what's for what's because they all have sort of similar purposes. So, like the crystal thing is pretty much a bit of everything, but I'll use it for pads and things. I've got interest. Now, interest is that is the. Actually, I'll put this on a preset I really like. So so this is the Tim Henson plugin, which is really good because I quite like just surfing for sounds on it, and something always kind of comes up that sort of gets me inspired and doing stuff. So just randomly, I'll just pick a guitar tone. I'm not really fussed about whether it's my tone or not for this kind of thing. I'll just find something that's interesting, that's not what I'd usually use. Wild is a Plini patch which has just got loads of delay and distortion on it, and it gives me that kind of wild indie sound. Tune is the Soldano, and then I've got Go, which is, what is Go? Gojira. So that'll be that's got an octavator on that one, so that's kind of set up to do something, I think. And then anything is Plini. So that's kind of sort of a universal thing. Sometimes if I don't like my usual lead sound, I'll do something off the Plini one. But I particularly like that because it's got the big sort of spacious reverbs on it. So I'm happy to use that. And then we've got the Juno, an arcade and noise channel, and that is it. Okay, so that's where I'm up to. So now what we'll have to do is we're going to have to start writing some music, aren't we? Right, so where do we start? Drums, I think. And some interest. Okay, here we go. In fact, let's get a background. So I think like, because obviously I don't often do like write stuff with like instruments all of the time. So I think just to kind of get things going, it sort of makes sense just to just get some atmosphere and stuff up and what have you. So we can get right. Okay, that'll do. Okay, so I'm gonna just get this so it loops around a bit. Maybe like this, like that. Get the start point there. Right, okay, and let's get some drums on this. So take the drums, and then we just need something, don't we? That's what I think. I'll tell you what, we'll go for the 120. I'm not sure what tempo I want to be at here, but just get something that feels good, I suppose. And we'll pick a drum kit. What's the one I like? That's like so this is one thing that I'm probably going to have a look at, and that's alright. Okay, that's the kit picked. Now I need the beats. I don't want Latin. What's this? Right, songs. That'll do. And we've got, and we're going to use the chorus. So that's now in. That's the drums done. There we go. Tell you what, let's just let's get a bit of percussion on there as well. Retro, wave, retro wave. 3. Oh, I know what would be good. Indie. Let's stick with a genre. So let's have that in. Funny little crackle on the beep. Right, here we go. So So the latency feels okay, so hopefully, I'll just double check on this tuning. Right, there we go. Start again. Completely forget what I'm doing. Not in time. Oh, right. So that's set to it. Right. Alright, this will be interesting. So this is set to E minor. Okay, and then that's... Yeah. E minor, we want D. Okay. I'm going to stick my reverb on the end of that, not this one. So just... Okay, those two sound good. It's just getting the attack right on those chords that I want. I think the last two are quite alright. Right, pull yourself together, Tim. just take another riff just to play along to. So this is like a little trick I'll do. Maybe just switch the crystal riff on. Try and find another bit. Oh, right, what am I going to do? Shall I end this progression on the C or shall I end it on the A? C or maybe the C. Right, here we go. I've got the bass on there at the same time. And the lead. We'll give that a go. I was just going to record it without the amp sound on there. I'll put it on now. That should be looping. Okay. Well, you can shred on it. That's not too bad. Okay, so I think I've got part of a tune here. 2 bits down. Okay. Let's have a closer look at this. Right, okay, and there we go. And that is a splurge done. Little bits anyway. Right, what am I using for the lead tone? Right, okay. I'm using the usual, which is Soldano. And that's going into delay and reverb, which are all native to Ableton Live. So it's Ableton Live delays and reverbs that are on there. Just a lead patch that I always use. That's it. The effects switched off. So I'll just I'm going to save that and then we'll do something else. Okay, let's check on anything in the chat. Right, okay. So all I did on the arrangement really was just I wanted to just hear a few different how different parts sounded with each other, so there wasn't any particular kind of major structuring going on, although I know that's sort of like the big bit of it. So it's just kind of almost visually knocking things out there to get to that. Alright. Let's do a new one. I mean, I actually already have. I mean, if the truth is, I actually already kind of know what I want to do with this. Is not to have that section. And actually switch to the other type of sound where it goes more synth. Because it's not doing a lot for me, that, to be honest. But you say I'm being judgmental and I shouldn't be. Because it's just to have an opinion on later. And even I've got to remind myself. Okay. Right, and I'm back. Here we go. So, back with the live drum template. Sorry, live band template. So I think we're going to go again with another splurge. Let's try something else. Anybody want to ask anything? Tell you the other thing about recording guitars is you can get kind of pulled in to sort of the perfectionist, getting the performance right when you're splurging, which, you know, I don't think it's necessary either. So I quite like that snappy kit. Quite like that. Okay. To start. Right, I'm going to have to do this on the other one. Fake bass seems to be the way to go today. First one. Actually, that's an interesting idea as well. If I ran the two things together as a different section, that'd be quite cool, wouldn't it? So I'll try. I'm just going to bang this down. Nope. Maybe the second time or not. Okay, interesting stuff. So I'm just going to quickly bang this arrangement down, what I've got, in the order of what I've got it. Nope, they're just the same, aren't they? Right, start that again. Right. Okay, so I think we're about there with that. Just quickly tidy up. Get this pulled. I always like to start 2 bars into a project. Just pull that out a bit. And get up to the base. Is it? Right, okay. Yeah, there's little ideas you could do like that. Right, okay. And there we have another idea. I'll tell you what, my editor does go a little bit nuts in these sessions. I do have to, like, it is there, you know, judging me. And I have to put him to one side. Yes, it is, Tanmay. It's a Pliny plugin. Okay. So I'll just save this, give it a name. And there we go. It's actually because I didn't switch back. So that's vaguely what the project looks like. Quite simple when you look at it, isn't it? It's like all the drums are just there and a bit of percussion, a couple of low gain amps, which actually I just copied from the bass. An interesting trick I did there actually was, because obviously they'd be sample accurate, the playing. So to get round that, to knock things a little bit out, I just delayed each track on the guitars, and then suddenly the guitars kind of pop out, which is quite a cool thing. Crystal effect. So there we go. Another idea done. uh, so I've got to just not be judgmental. But it's been great. I've been absolutely completely in the moment though, doing this whilst being slightly judgmental. And it's felt much more of a challenge as well. And it brings up all sorts of like interesting things when you start bringing guitars into it. You know, it's like, like you start thinking into the future, don't you? Do you think these parts all need re-recording again? Well, of course they don't. They sound perfectly fine, you know. So it's an interesting one. Okay, everybody. So I've got a few minutes left. I'll just pour a coffee. And if anybody wants to say anything, then cool. All fit into the cup. There we go. Excellent, Carl. Good. There's a couple. How do I get rid of the long-term writer's block? I don't pay it any attention, and I run what is called the automatic music making machine. So this is the thing. This is the heart. This is what I coach on. So like when I'm coaching, sort of getting people to learn this system is sort of the fundamental sort of bit of it. Oh, right, that's brilliant, Carl. So here we have. So the first thing is I just, you know, doing music's just like going to work, really. It's just you got to turn up, come rain or shine, and get on with it. So the first thing is just to sit down and do the actual thing. So just by doing, that gets you started, and just not being judgmental over what you're doing, and just get ideas down. The problem that we have as artists is that when we're actually in the moment, our thoughts and our feelings are pretty unreliable. So what's happened is a system has been built where it's a bit glitchy because I've got a couple of things open. Hold on. So this system, which I'm now going to get up on here. Where's the thing? Show scene. This one here. Okay, so this system here, this is the automatic music making machine, which was designed by the guy who coached me, Mike Monday, and it's a work of genius, I've got to say. So we've got these columns, and in these columns, this is where all of our music ideas go. So the first thing I do, and what you've watched me doing today, is I've been splurging. So what I've been doing is creating lots of ideas without being judgmental over what I'm doing. Okay, so I don't allow any critical thought if I can help it, and I just kind of get the parts down and try and make something. And all I'm doing fundamentally, as I always say, is just making something to have an opinion on later. Now, one of the rules of the splurge is, well, the rules of the splurge are 100% focus on quantity, 0% focus on quality. So there is no quality judgment at all in anything in your playing, in the mixing, nothing like that, because those are things that just aren't helpful. And then the other rule is you don't listen to it for another 7 days. So once you've done the session, you don't listen to that piece of music for 7 days. 3 days is the minimum, because like sometimes you do have you know, projects that have got to be finished and things like that. So sometimes you just got to get on with it and not do the machine. But the majority of the time, you know, 3 days is the minimum. 7 days is the best. And then we have different sections. So you listen back to the ideas that go into discovery. So the ideas that you really want to work on can go into discovery. It's because I've got the latency really high on this computer, it's glitching. So I'll tell you what, I'll just shut Trello and I'll just go through them from memory. But anyway, that's the machine, and it's just a system of cataloguing where music projects are, where basically where your music projects are within the creative process. So that's how that kind of works. Right. So you have the discovery, and then you've got the drafting, which is where you start fleshing out what the overall purpose of a track is, and then you've got release, which is everything you need to do except the nitty-gritty of mixing it to be able. I mean, release is just about being able to make a decision on whether you're going to release something or not. If you're not going to release something, don't waste your time mixing it. You say it's all valuable time that you can stick into the front end of the process. Could you imagine what it would be like since I've started these streams? The only way you can look at the system is to come for coaching and learn it. That's the only way it can be. It's not something, it has to be coached, it has to be taught you, because the music process is so dynamic. Everybody has, well, everybody's different, aren't they? And everybody has different objectives, and people have different things that actually hold them back. So that's one of the things we coach on. The other thing about the automatic music making machine system is that it actually is just a container. That's all it is. That mirrors the creative process, going from divergent thinking through to convergent thinking. But actually, where the magic is the games and the things that we do, the creative games that we play within each of those sections, how we move tracks on. So that's how that works. But this automatic music making machine, I've been running it since 2017. It's just been the absolutely best thing ever. And you know, like I was on the very first sort of group of people who were like on developing this and using this. And I've used it ever since, and the Riding Out album was literally put together in 8 weeks when I first started using this machine, and it's come a long way since then. And I don't know of anything kind of like this that really does a sort of kind of track creativity in the way that it does. And one of the other advantages of it is, of course, you're working on multiple material all in parallel. So compared to the older way of producing, where you would just produce maybe in series and you would start and finish a track, then make a decision on whether you're going to release or not, then start another one. This is much more free. We can jump about different parts of the creative process. So we're always inspired. So if I don't feel like splurging, I mean, I always splurge every day, but there's always something to do. I can go to doing drafting, I can go to a discovery session, I can go to the done session, and then if there's anything I've made a decision on for a release, I can go to a mixing session. So if I really didn't want to do anything massively creative, although mixing is quite creative, but in terms of writing, picking and playing up, I could just do a mixing session, get a few wins there, maybe do a splurge. And then, but these are all different creative muscles that we use, and the muscles that we use when we're mixing are slightly different to the muscles in our brain that we're using when we're actually creating something from the very beginning. And it's also different from when we're drafting. So you can mix all of these different processes up. So I hope that makes a bit of sense. So yeah, I mean, to actually get the machine officially under your belt, it takes about 8 weeks to do. And when I coach on it, it's you do a session every week with me, and it's usually a minimum of 2 hours each session. And that would you know, you'd have the system, and you'd have a roadmap of being able to finish absolutely tons of music. And as I say, it's just like the best resource that I have, you know. Okay. So I think that's it. I am going, saying that, like, not on the automatic music make machine, I'm planning on doing maybe one coaching gym a month, which will just be a general coaching session where anybody can kind of come along, and anything that's kind of holding them back in their process of making music, or whatever they're trying to do, or developing their businesses within the music industry, I will be there to coach and help. So I will set a date. I would like to get one in actually this month, or the beginning of next month would be nice. It's just finding a time. Okay, but I'll let everybody know, and that session will be on Zoom, and I'll just basically give everybody a Zoom link, and you can just turn up between whatever time. All right then. Thank you everybody, and I'll see you later.